We got a couple things lined up that we kind of discussed before we started a podcast. Probably be a
space talk.
yeah, usually, you get a
Before
space
we
talk.
started, I would have
Why don't you do
I would
space
have
talk next week then?
I would have come up with a topic because it's very easy to do since there's a lot of topics to talk about in such a thing. But
We might throw in some D&D talks too in the podcast next week as well. Okay, Post, why don't you tell us about the Ryzen chip line that came out?
The CP, price to performance and everything has always been AMD's thing. As far as the graphics cards, the 5700 and 5700 XT came out today. Those still look good for their price. They ended up having to price jump them because Nvidia came out randomly with the 2060 Super and 2070 Super in response to them out of nowhere. But
no, that's what companies do when there's only two of them competing against. I remember back then there was like more video cards back then.
Yeah, but in my opinion, after looking at them and the news that reviewers were having trouble with benchmarking them, AMD had to come out with a driver immediately to patch everything. They had issues with it. So I think in like a week or two or even a month, they might patch it again. And we might see like the full out performance that they can do. But in the meantime, well, like most technology, you don't always have to buy them right at launch.
No.
Yeah.
I know I'll be building a new PC in 2 to 3 years, so. But I'll got this part and put on Ash's computer.
Why do I get your leftovers?
Because you don't do extreme gaming like I do.
I don't want leftovers.
It's better than nothing. Honey, this computer's a beast.
A 2-year-old beast.
Yeah.
It's a Gen 6 i7.
4 gigahertz. I can overclock it to 4.3 to 4.5.
Yeah, but it's not as fast as the chips that are out today.
Yeah, I don't have money to buy 2 of everything.
I mean, I think what you have for a computer is definitely still up to date and just fine. I'm only making the point that it's not a beast compared to some of the stuff that's available right now.
Yeah, I know, but it's a beast for me. It's affordable. They go play any kind of high-end game. All you can do is if I put in a better graphics card in it,
even the graphics card. Even the graphics card,
CPU, because a lot of games today are CPU intensive. Like Counter-Strike is more CPU intensive than
Yeah, but Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike it might be CPU intensive, but almost any computer can run it now.
Yeah, but it's always favored Intel or any CPU that's more fast single core workload.
Yeah, so
it favors a single core workload because it's running on an infrastructure that's 15 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, the engine behind that game is how do we say, very ancient, and another game in the library of Valve that is old. I mean, Valve is they are not a developer anymore, right? I mean, what's the last game that they built? Portal 2. That's it.
Half-Life.
No, Portal 2 is the last game though that they built. Half-Life came out a long time ago. Half-Life 2, the third chapter. I think Portal 2 is newer than that.
Dota 2 was the last one, it looks like.
The latest game they made was that stupid card game they made that went just horribly wrong.
That's Artifact. Yeah. That wasn't made by Valve themselves.
No, that was published by Valve.
It was published, but it wasn't developed by them. Dota 2 was the last one that they worked on themselves. That was 2013.
I stopped playing Dota and League of Legends a long time. It's just got it just got boring after a while.
Yeah, I don't like those games. So Dota 2 is older than so Portal 2 is before 2010. I don't remember dates that well.
Portal 2 is 2011.
All right, so I was close. So
CS:GO is newer than Portal 2. CS:GO is 2012.
CS:GO. Keep in mind though, CS:GO is not new engine. I guess if you want to count that, but all of the Counter-Strike games are based on the Half-Life 2 engine, which is definitely older than 2012. I guess technically Portal 2 is also based on the Half-Life 2 engine. So, yeah, they're all, I guess, okay. They're all based on the Half-Life 2 engine, which is...
I never played Portal 2. I played Portal 1, though. Hey, Ching.
Portal 2 is good if you have a second player.
No,
the single player, I didn't really like it as much.
So all of those games, they're all based on Source 2, right? Is that the engine that they use? I think. So I remember the Valve engine being called the Source engine, and I believe that Source 2 was the last one that they had. So I'm assuming all of these games are Source 2 engines. I don't know what Dota 2 runs on. I'm assuming Dota is also probably a Source game.
The first Dota was on Warcraft 3.
The what?
First Dota was on Warcraft 3. The second.
Oh, what do you mean?
The first game of Dota.
Yep.
Was created on a custom map for Warcraft 3.
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, you mean it was one of those mini games?
Yeah, it was one of those mini games. Got really popular, so they made Dota 2 on through Valve and Steam because but I think there's some confrontation with Blizzard with that because they want to make money.
I mean, Dota 1 is its own game now.
Yeah, Dota 1 it's basically from Warcraft 3. It's a custom map that they made.
Dota 1 was made, so the developer for Dota is Ice Frog. Yeah, because I watch
Ice Frog. You made it,
but it has its. So Dota 1 is on the Source engine. I'm looking at. Hold on, I'll look it up right now. Pretty sure Dota 1 is on Source.
No, because they put the map on the custom map in Warcraft 3. That's how majority of the characters from Dota 2 looks just like the characters from Warcraft 3.
Dota 1 is a Source 1 game, so it uses the Source 1 engine.
This is a custom map for Warcraft 3.
No, it's not. It's on the Source engine. Now, where that came from? Yeah, that you could be right. Where they got the idea for it?
Yeah, because
so the idea
for
Dota
first came out on the custom map.
The original Dota was a mod or something for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I was gonna say it says on their wiki that it was created a mod for the Reign of Chaos and the Frozen Throne expansion.
Okay.
Because reason why Dota blew up because all the freaking Koreans, because I'm half Korean, were playing the shit out of it, including me, because we got tired of Counter-Strike, then we moved to Dota on the Warcraft 3. So yeah, let's see here.
And the original Dota is old, isn't it? It's from a long time ago.
Yeah, I think they're gonna bring it back when the Reforged comes out on Blizzard. That's next month.
Well, there is.
That's assuming that Activision won't sue them.
Yeah, so there is. Well, I don't think that they will.
They won't because they're not going to make any money from it. It's just going to be another custom map.
Well,
basically.
there is a Dota 1 that is not the mod for Warcraft 3.
Well, originally it was for
Warcraft
3.
No, I understand that.
Afterwards, you can actually download a client for Dota 1 itself.
Yeah, which is what.
Back then they didn't have, the Ice Frog did not have the money to have buy his own server and basically do all this shit until way later on until he
Well,
made a
yeah, it
deal.
looks like until Valve picked him up.
Yeah, then League of Legend came to counter it, and basically League of Legend basically
Buried it for the most part. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say buried it. I'd say Dota 2
Well-
still has some popularity in the esports scene. So it's not fair at all to say it's buried because it's not.
Yeah, but
But League of Legends is much bigger.
yeah, but it just got so boring because they just put in so many characters. It's like
Same thing with League.
yeah,
Yeah, MOBAs. League's okay. I'm not gonna say it's a bad game. It's just not an overly fun game for me. I feel like there's not a lot to do. You just like you walk up and down a lane, and it just doesn't seem like there's a lot that you do.
And the fact that if you are so used to one character, you never know that they'll patch that character, completely changing the move set of that character, or if like you're playing Cyver and she's primarily an ADC, which is the bottom lane, the one lane where you go with the support. You know, you'll never know if like they change her to go do jungle for competitive. You know,
I don't know. I played Dota, League of Legends for years. Then you know, like
how often in League of Legends do they have patches that rebalance characters? Do they do it a lot, or is it infrequent?
It's a lot and
It's
very
a lot.
frequent because they put out the characters in, then they basically you don't really do the beta test for it. You just play it, and basically people just spam the shit out of the report to basically to balance the characters out, what's here and there and everything else as well.
Another thing is they're trying to make them more interesting because Riot's at the point where they ran out of ideas of making new characters, and whenever they come out with a new character, it's pretty much like a reskin, different mechanics of a previous character. Like this new character, she's like this Mayan-looking woman. I don't know what her name is, and she throws a disc around kind of like Cypher does, which is annoying.
Yeah, I just it's like World of Warcraft for me. It's like I'll play for like 8 months to 9. I'll take like another 8 to 9 months break because it's like I did all the raids in the dungeons, and I just don't like keep doing over and over again. Then later on, when a new expansion or patch comes in, I go back in and finish that up. Then I get bored again. I'm hopefully the classic.
I hate to say it, but you're playing MMOs like they're regular RPGs.
Yeah.
So, but that's not really that's not what they designed them for. That's why you're getting bored.
Yeah, because remember, because classic was a challenge. Burning Crusade and Lich King was like one of the best expansion. Then they just dumbed down all the mechanics. There is no challenge on these newer expansions.
And not just that, it is opposed to making it more challenging, decided to make it more farming oriented.
Yeah.
In order to do anything like the artifacts and stuff like that, you're pretty much wielding a legendary weapon, and you have to level that weapon out in order to do anything in PvE or PvP, which is not how the game should be. And now, since Blizzard no longer has an esports division,
What happened to their esports division?
they laid off everybody.
For the StarCraft 2?
They laid off the StarCraft 2 a while before this one.
The WCS staff still exists.
Yeah, they still have third-party people doing it, but they don't have like their own legit esports division anymore.
Is it due to because they get bought out by Activision because they don't see money coming in,
They
got bought out by
Activision a while ago, though.
Yeah, but it's also the issue that Activision says no to everything that Blizzard does now, and Activision just wants to save money and make more money, which you can't really do because it's an MMO. You're supposed to be creative in an MMO in order to keep a fan base for it.
Yeah, because WoW was dying until I know Classic will bring back a lot of people, but
Yeah.
Activision, I even saw their E3. Their new lineup
For
of
the-
games
for the-
sucks.
So I don't know. So they still have. So I watch StarCraft like every day. All of the Blizzard casters still work for Blizzard, so they weren't laid off. And I can
Those are
name.
the casters. When I
Yeah.
say like the esports division, I'm talking about the people that make like different new brackets and stuff like that, new challenges and all that. That stuff is all third party now.
Could be. I don't know about the other games, but I mean they still the people that are organizing Overwatch are also still there.
I don't
So,
know.
so all,
No, they
Yeah,
stopped Overwatch. They just stopped Overwatch.
but there's another thing.
The problem with Overwatch is the thing that makes esports like a game successful for esports is it has to be visually appealing for people that haven't played the game yet, or it has to be like simple enough that people that haven't played the game understands what's going on. And Overwatch is not one of those type of games. It's not visually appealing enough for people that don't play Overwatch.
that game got boring after a year.
Yeah.
I stopped playing Overwatch. I actually plays it here and
But-
there.
But Overwatch League, which is owned by Blizzard, is still going. It's not been canceled. It's running right now. 2019 Overwatch League by Blizzard. It's still going. Duration, it goes every year from February 14th to September 29th. It is currently running right now, and the finals are on September 29th. And there's one for next year scheduled as well. Qualifiers start in December, and this is all run by Blizzard. So I know that Blizzard laid people off, but I'm wondering what did they lay off? Because everyone that's involved, so all of the Overwatch esports stuff, I have to disagree with you guys. It's all still there because I watch it. The WCS, which is
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing because I have no idea
the-
about
the-
these
the-
esports things.
the WCS, which is the organization that runs the Blizzard part of the StarCraft, and the KSL, which is the Korean StarCraft League, which is the StarCraft one.
Yeah, I
All,
watched.
you watch KSL,
Yeah.
and there's another KSL scheduled for this year.
Mhm.
Those are all in Blizzard internal. Now for StarCraft, I would say 2/3 of the tournaments, granted, are run by Ollie TV, SBS Ollie Africa TV in Korea. They do literally run 2/3 of all StarCraft sports.
The
And
StarCraft is their religion.
Granted, I will agree that yes, 2/3 of all pro stuff, and they are a third party that's working with Blizzard, but Blizzard still has the WCS and the KSL, and those are run internally. And Overwatch 2019 Overwatch League is still a go. It's on its second pro season, and it goes to September 29th. So if there's no one running esports at Blizzard, who is running this stuff? It doesn't look like it's third-party companies. I'm looking at Wikipedia pages. I'm looking at the pages.
Wikipedia is not a good source for research. You know that. You're a professor.
But of course, what I'm saying couldn't be, or is probably isn't in full effect yet. They probably laid off a lot of those people, but not laid off them completely yet.
Is Blizzard like fully integrated with Activision, or they could just buy out?
No. They're one company. Blizzard Activision.
Oh
They're
god.
one
Yeah,
company.
they merged.
There's one company. The company is named Blizzard Activision or Activision
No,
Blizzard. I don't know.
Because
But if you look on its stock profile, it says Activision Blizzard.
man, Blizzard's gonna be going downhill, I guess, because
Yeah. So far, every single company that Activision acquired or merged with has died, or nearly died, or has gotten to the point where they cannot, like, recuperate. Like Bungie. Bungie's like in utter chaos right now.
Yeah. Hey, Blue.
Oh, I just want to mention one other thing about Overwatch. Keep in mind, we already know that they have Overwatch 2 in development because they basically said that when they canceled the StarCraft FPS they were working on, when they made the announcement that we're canceling the StarCraft FPS, they said it's because that they're concentrating on the development of Overwatch 2.
Yeah, but we
I-
still do not know what Overwatch 2 actually is. There's a lot of rumors saying that Overwatch 2 is just a single player campaign for the Overwatch world, like the story and everything.
So it's a story mode.
Yeah, it's the story mode.
So-
I
Um,
want it.
and
I
another
want the
thing-
story mode.
Another thing that came out of the whole canceling the StarCraft FPS is now they're rushing development of Diablo 4 because of all the bad rap from Diablo Immortal and stuff.
We
Yeah,
still haven't heard nothing new about the Immortal yet. That's been announced like last year.
yeah.
So you didn't. So I have some news about that. Okay.
Uh,
There's been a lot of stuff recently in the last couple of weeks about Blizzard and Tencent. Okay, and I'm sure for everyone who doesn't know, Tencent is the largest Chinese video game developer, and they own percentages of other developers and publishers across the world, including Activision Blizzard. I don't know how much of Activision Blizzard they own, but they do have a vested interest. They do have monetary interest. So Tencent does own some of Activision Blizzard, but it's not a controlling. It's not a control. It's not a controlling amount, but they still own part of it. So anyway, back to what I was saying about the Diablo Immortal. Okay, is remember it's a reskinned mobile game that Tencent already built. So we already know the game. I forget the name of the game. You can look it up. But it's a reskinned mobile game that was released in China.
yeah, we know that.
Yeah, that game is a flop. It's been all over the news.
Is they still bring out Diablo Immortal or no?
Yes, as far as we know, they have not canceled Diablo Immortal. So we don't know. Like you said, we haven't heard anything about Diablo Immortal specifically. All we know, the only thing that we've seen talked about is the issues with Tencent and this mobile game that Tencent made that is being reskinned, I should say, as a Diablo Immortal game. So I'm gonna look at what game is Diablo.
Crusader of Light.
Okay, so there you go. Both found it. Yep, Crusader of Light. I got it. Crusaders of Light is a flop. It's a flop.
Well, I'll be hopefully in Diablo 4. They fixed the talent tree.
It's a flop. And Tencent right now is running around trying to figure out a way to make Crusaders of Light sell. Now, Tencent is not the developer of Crusaders of Light.
It's NetEase.
NetEase, okay. NetEase is the developer, but Tencent's the publisher, and they're trying to figure out a way to make this game sell. And it's Tencent who got NetEase's Crusaders of Light for Blizzard to reskin for Diablo Immortal. So it's a mess. It's a mess. So anyway, what does this tell us? At the end of the day, what does this tell us? That probably
Blizzard's
Diablo
gonna
Immortal.
die soon.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say it tells us that Diablo Immortal is probably a pile of crap.
We can say Blizzard is Ares, and Activision is Sephiroth. It's gonna be strapped right through the abdomen.
Yeah. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong or not wrong? Isn't NetEase actually making Diablo Immortal for Blizzard? Isn't NetEase the actual developer for it?
I don't know.
I bet it is.
It might be. I don't know. I know that Diablo Immortal is not going to do too well. I'm just
Well,
going
because the game is based on Crusaders of Light is failing.
Yeah, it says in this article that they're working at both.
It's not only that they're making it into a mobile, but Diablo Blizzard was basically just for the PC. Even though they have some games that out on the PlayStation, but still it's majority it's more for the PC for PC players like us.
I just posted a link to the article.
Cool.
So we need Diablo 4, right? If Blizzard needs Diablo 4, I want Diablo.
That depends too, because how the story's going on it.
Yeah, I personally have an issue with them just straight up launching Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Is when they launched Diablo 3, they said there were going to be 3 expansions, and we only ever got one,
Yeah.
and they completely cut the other 2. Like, we'll never know what really happens to Leah, whether she's dead or not. That was supposed to be one expansion, and there was supposed to be a split of the Angelic Council.
Yeah, and also, hopefully, I really want them to fix the talent tree. Hopefully, they revert back to what Diablo 2 talent tree was. There was a lot of issue with Diablo 3. It was a good game, but I had a lot of issues with it.
I don't think they're going to revert to a Diablo 2
No,
type.
because they're making it so like easy. It's like you and I played Diablo 3 together. We also ran Diablo 2 together.
Well, yeah, we ran Diablo 2 all the way to the Diablo 2. Oh my, the farming for items in Diablo 2. Oh my God, what a headache!
Actually, I need to go back and basically make sure my level 80 some character doesn't disappear. You should do it too for Diablo 2.
I think our characters are probably gone.
We got 3 months, 90 days. So I don't know the last time we played.
I think it might have been longer than 90 days. But regardless, I don't. I think a Diablo 2 remaster. Like, let me ask you a question.
I would prefer a Diablo 1 remaster, to be honest.
That would be cool too. What? So if you're Blizzard and you have 2 games in front of you, and I'll tell you what my answer is after you guys talk about it, and you have Warcraft 3 or Diablo 2 in front of you, and you're going to remaster one of them, which would you do? And why would you do it?
Diablo 2 because I prefer more RPG than World of Warcraft strategy base point. I would play StarCraft base point than World of Warcraft, in my opinion. It's just Warcraft 3 had too many units and structures. Then and basically then you have a whole wide range which you want to go against. But with StarCraft, it's basically lesser, like certain amount. That's great. But also, you have to resource a whole bunch of other stuff because I think 3 gotta get oil, gold, wood. I think something else too, right? I think there's a 4th one for 3. And Warcraft 2, you gotta find 3. It was oil, wood, and gold. And the one was just gold.
A lot of units. What about the use map settings option on StarCraft 2, where you can add in all the units?
Yeah.
From that's a lot of units.
Yeah.
Where you can add all the units from the other games. I think that's awesome that they have that.
Well, yeah,
I think it should be
same thing. Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 actually custom map making has more units than StarCraft.
Use map set. Well, yeah, StarCraft use map settings. But yeah. So all right, now I hear you. Post. What would you have done?
I would say Warcraft 3 because I'm biased.
So I'm going to look at it from the perspective of Blizzard. I think they want to turn Warcraft 3 into an esport. I think that I really believe, and this is just a hunch, just a belief. It could be completely wrong and not based on anything. I think they're going to use the Warcraft 3 remaster to test the waters to see if there's actually an interest in StarCraft 3. I really do. I think they want to take Warcraft 3, Warcraft 3 Reforged, see how it does, really push it, see if they can actually get any esports value out of it. And I believe they're going to try and get esports value out of it. And there is the possibility of getting esports value out of it. And I believe that they felt that there was no possibility of getting esports value out of a Diablo 2 remaster. And remember how Activision and Blizzard are so esports focused now? So you have to take that into consideration when trying to figure out any of their motivations.
Is there Diablo esport?
No, there's no Diablo esport. Diablo is the one game that they have that it does not have an esport league.
They tried. They tried though, because remember they brought in the arena.
Right, they did. They brought in the arena. It didn't happen for them. So I think that that's something they're going to try and develop into Diablo 4. They're going to try and make they're going to try and build esports into it like they did with World of Warcraft. So we'll see what they do with it. But I think right now they're looking at, we want to test the waters to see if there's any possibility of a market for a StarCraft 3.
Have you been reading the rumors about the Diablo 4?
I haven't really read much of the rumors about it. I'm just guessing that if you have read some, I'd love to hear about it. But I'm just guessing, and I think it's a good guess to say that they're going to be developing PvP into that game that can be used in an esport league or an esport realm. They're going to be
Well,
doing it.
the one thing that popped out to me when I was reading the rumors of the supposed people that left Blizzard and all that claimed, you know how like in the previous Diablos it was more third person omniscient? You look
Yeah.
over the characters. Well, the rumor is
kind of like isometric, 3/4 isometric, kind of like Baldur's Gate, you know. Sort of. It's not completely 3/4, but it's isometric. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
well, the main rumor is for Diablo 4 is it's still third person, but it's third person over the shoulder, kind of like World of Warcraft.
Okay. I understand. So that's the rumor. They're going to go for that perspective. Will you be able to change your camera perspective, or is that it?
I think that's it. It doesn't say anything about changing the camera.
Okay. That would be different. That would be totally different if that's the aspect they're going for. What do you think? I mean, as far as the esport aspect of it goes, I mean, it would just simply be some type of PvP, maybe a WoW type of arena.
I think doing an esport for the Diablos will be a failure.
Well, WoW arena is a thing.
Well,
so,
what do you mean? You mean the WoW PvP?
Yeah, the WoW PvP.
Yeah, let's not talk about WoW PvP. That triggers me so much.
To me, for that, I'm not really a big fan of PvP. Tell you the truth, I am for World of Warcraft, for Diablo 2 when they first bring in the PvP for the multiplayer for it. Was not really a big fan because it's not for everyone basically, and then with the new expansion came out. They think they fixed it, but they have not. Because they gotta consider it.
They made it worse.
Yeah, they gotta consider, like, not a lot of people spend night and day on these games just to get the gears that they need. Most people just play the game for the stories.
So, like, here's the issue with WoW PvP now. The last 2 or 3 expansions were the worst ever for PvP, in my opinion, and a lot of people share the same opinion as me. And here's the problem. Back in the day, World of Warcraft, when you PvP, there was dedicated PvP gear that specializes in just fighting other characters, like PvP resilience and power.
Yeah, and now all the armor is like PvP and PvE, but it doesn't really help much.
Yeah, so PvP now, like this applies to all MMOs. You should not force a PvP or the PvE in order to do well in PvP. That's just the bottom line. You don't force people to do this play style that they don't, feel comfortable with. Not a lot of people has time to spend 20 to 30 hours per week to raid Mythic, Crucible of Storms or whatever just to get a piece of gear that's proficient that's a best in slot for your character in Arena. You shouldn't do that. They should bring back PvP quartermasters. They should do like a weekly thing where you get the cap like they did that they used to do with Conquest, which is like 2,100 conquests per week. You get at least one piece of gear each week, depending on how big the stats are with that gear. Like usually it takes 3 weeks to get your weapon in Arena. They should bring that back, and maybe people would choose to stay for WoW Arena,
But to me, after the Lich King with that, when the Cataclysm came in, it just went downhill for PvP.
Tell me about what's PvP like in Classic.
There wasn't.
There weren't.
They brought back in I think Burning Crusade, right?
No, this is what happened. So, the first two raids, the first two major patches, there wasn't PvP quartermasters yet. So you played Molten Core to Netherian's Lair, or I forget what Netherian's Lair the raid is actually called. It might be Netherian's Lair, I don't remember. But then the Battlegrounds came out, Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin came out later, and Alteric Valley came out like towards the end.
Well, there was one during the Persian Crusade where they have just basic dedicated like land just for PvP, and you just collect the towers.
Arena came out in TBC, but regular Battlegrounds came out in Classic.
Yeah,
but the way Classic,
there were servers that was just PvP no matter where you went.
Yeah,
and then in Burning Crusade they introduced the arena.
Yeah,
and the quartermaster.
But like the way they did the quartermasters in Classic was different in every other expansion. The way they did it in Classic was a ranking system. Rank 14 was Grand Marshal. That's the highest rank you can possibly get. And in order to achieve that from the start of when the vendors came out, you had to grind like 14 hours a day every day in order to get Grand Marshal, which you could get around at least before Gates of Anchorage, at least. And then you buy the gear, the rank 14 gear. The rank 14 gear, the stats are way different from the rank 13 and anything before it. That's like the best set you can possibly get for PvP. You know, you were top tier once you got Grand Marshal. And originally, when you equip the Grand Marshal gear and then you like log off and you take a break after like a week or a month and you lose that rank 14 stash, you couldn't equip that gear anymore. But then like towards the end of the vanilla, they allowed it, you know.
See, yeah. So I don't know, but it sounds like from what you're saying, they made nothing better with the new patches. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the 8.2, the new one that came out. Going against, I don't know where I just found out they just put it up not too long ago.
Interesting enough, something else about the Blizzard RTSs. They are doing, and I thought they weren't going to do another one. I thought they were kind of done, but because I thought that the team behind StarCraft was completely disbanded, as Post was saying. What's going on, Lance? You're growing and you're grunting here.
No, I have a headache. That's all.
Oh, it sucks. Take some Tylenol, my friend.
Doesn't work.
Oh man, you should talk to the doctor. They have migraine medicine that probably better than Tylenol.
I took a lot of different type of migraine medication. It backfires on me.
Side effects always suck.
Are you doing a lot of whippets or something? I see a lot of aerosol cans in the background.
No. I actually like cleaning, like I think a couple weeks ago, I was opening up doing the basic cleaning for all my consoles.
So they're compressed.
So that's the story you're going with, Lance.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
You sure it's not whipped cream?
I
wish it
was whipped cream.
So anyway, what I was saying was, don't do the whipped cream, kids, and stop sniffing the glue and the markers. Anyway, sound advice from me, Grim Monolith. So what I was saying about StarCraft is I thought the development team behind StarCraft 2 has been completely disbanded, but there are some people still working on it because they just released pre-notes for a new balance patch that they're going to release this year. They did a rebalance patch in the last year. And by the way, if you play StarCraft, they made battle cruisers for Terran. They're way better. But one of the things for Terran that they changed is, for those who know anything about StarCraft 2 or even StarCraft 1, they made the stim upgrade for Marines much faster to get, which is going to spell trouble for Protons, which is good.
Nope. Hell
Yes,
nope. Your Terran's gonna go down.
Don't leave Lance unattended with his Protoss.
We have a couple live stream we did, me and Grim. Basically, he's
the
getting
point,
his ass
the
handed
point,
by me by
yeah,
Protoss.
the point, the only point I'm saying is I think that there is a little interest there still at Blizzard with the RTS genre, and it shows that there are still people working on StarCraft because of the rebalance patch.
Mhm.
And I think one of the reasons why this rebalance patch even exists, and the rebalance patch heavily favors Terran, it's because one of the greatest StarCraft 2 players to ever play. He's a Korean gentleman by the name
Me,
of
Maru?
Yeah, Maru.
Guy's ass
He
handed.
he purposely, and I'm not gonna look. I'm not saying he threw games. I'm just saying, look, he purposely went with some build strategies in some big tournaments last year that he tried to win the game with, but he kept complaining we're underpowered to other races like Protoss. And he went with those build strategies anyway to prove the point to Blizzard that there are imbalances in Terran compared to other units. And he got knocked out, and he wasn't even mad. He was like, "Yep, see, told you, I microed better, I built faster, I move units better, I strategize better than my opponent, and you can see it, but I still lose because of the imbalance in the units." And Blizzard took notice. So what he did worked, and Blizzard took notice, and they have been working on a rebalance patch.
Mhm.
And with the release of not StarCraft, but Warcraft 3 Reforged, I think they're testing the waters on a StarCraft 3. Another indicator for the market in general is look what Microsoft has coming back. Lance's favorite, Age of Empires, which
Oh, yeah.
I know, which is an RTS. Yes, there's the different there's a few different mechanics in it than a Blizzard RTS.
Well, with Age of Empire, the units are massive compared to StarCraft or Warcraft 3. Massive.
But I think yes, and I know they are different games, but they only share the RTS aspect with each other, and I know that they are different games, and I'm not saying that they are the same game, but I think that they appeal towards mostly the same audience. So how well Age of Empires does might indicate, what the need for a StarCraft 3 is. That's all.
I don't think StarCraft. The problem with this making StarCraft 3 is not the multiplayer aspect of it; it's the story aspect of it. They basically finished the story for StarCraft and StarCraft the last expansion for StarCraft 2.
You could always fast forward it 1,000 years.
Yeah, but Kerrigan and the Protoss still going to be alive. Only person that might be dead would be like majority of the Terran heroes.
Wait, Kerrigan's not dead yet?
No.
Oh, that's dumb.
She's a Zerg Primal now.
She controls the Zerg.
Yeah, it's Zerg, Terran, because of the rebellion and stuff. And TOS had a truce. They killed the hybrid, from the deep darkest of the void. Yeah, that was
the legacy of the void. Yeah, so like there was a hybrid Zerg hive that was basically just destroying everything. So Kerrigan's Zerg, the Zerg that Kerrigan controlled, the Protoss and the Terrans had to all join forces and kill him.
Yeah, basically out of truce because the Zerg that you've been playing since StarCraft 1, their DNA has been altered by the hybrid. The hybrids were the first ones, and then the newer Zergs were the DNA got altered, so they just keep killing, and they're programmed just to keep killing and expanding. The older Zergs were the primal Zerg. That's basically what they made Kerrigan into, the primal Zerg, so be control of all Zerg, and basically that was it. They all had a truce, everything else, everyone's happy. I don't know what they're gonna add with the story for number 3, even though they fast forwarded.
They can write anything they want.
You know what they should do? with the third game.
Vulcans, add in Vulcans and the Klingon.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much add different races that weren't in the first two games, and then
Remember
just
the
build a
rumor?
story based off those.
Remember there was a rumor that there was supposed to be a Cylon type robot race.
I don't know. They could make an AI. They actually had an AI race on number 2.
Oh my god, that's going to be the story of the third game. The AI will take over everything.
Because you got different factions now of Terrans and Protoss and the Zergs now.
Cortana shows up.
Shit. We got the Halo.
Or
and
maybe,
and her husband Ultron will come too.
Oh god. Oh god.
and then join forces with the evil computer HAL Skynet.
And then they will merge. They will fuse together with Enigma from Mega Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Enigma.
It is one of those things is that the multiplayer would be fine. It's just that the story aspect of it would be different.
I mean, you can look coming from someone, and you know, when we write D&D campaigns all the time, and
Well, that's
you write
different.
campaigns all the time. You know that writers, but they can create a story.
Yeah,
I don't.
That is true. That's if they make the story plausible and also understandable as well. Not like MK10 to MK11 story mode.
Well, I'm gonna go with a post set. Just throw in another race. Throw in a fourth race, and there's the story.
Yeah, because there are different factions now for Terran.
Another thing they can do is they can also make a prequel. Make a prequel that's 1,000 years before the first two games.
They can.
And they tell the origins of each race.
Well,
how
they already told the origins of each race on the.
No, like I mean by like how they evolved over time.
Well, they already did that too on the Legacy of the Void.
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah, they basically, you don't have to put more emphasis on it. It's just gonna make it more boring if you keep stretching the shit out of it.
But then again, we don't know how well the recorded history is. Maybe what they're telling us is not accurate.
Well, the Zerg is basically like a hive mind, so so it's like there we.
You know who we haven't heard from at all tonight?
Well, Ashley. I bet she's watching Stranger Things and ignoring us.
You probably fell asleep.
What do you want?
Hey, Carl.
I haven't watched the Stranger Things episodes yet because I'm just finishing up Dark. And I keep telling you to watch Dark. Look, if you want pure science fiction, watch Dark. Well, yeah.
I'll get to it
Dark,
after the
Dark
move.
is better sci-fi than Stranger Things. I like it better, and it's a bad dub. And the voices aren't synced to the characters. It's hilarious. I like the voices. It's just they're not synced very well to the characters. But regardless, the music, the atmosphere, the cinematography of Dark is like incredible. It's better than Stranger Things,
But Stranger Things really isn't science fiction, it's fantasy.
So in the realm of writing, I'm sure you know that science fiction and fantasy are considered the same category.
I'm not much into science fiction, though.
But science fiction and fantasy are considered the same. If you go to the bookstore, you will not find a science fiction and fantasy section that are separate. They're the same place.
We do.
In my Barnes & Noble, they are.
The Books A Million here, yep. And other bookstore I went to, yep.
I bet you that they're right next to each other.
They are, but they're still in different sections.
And if you go
my science fiction section's right next to the visual novel section.
Same here too, and Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, I can tell you right now, I guarantee you, science fiction and fantasy are considered the same category.
But they're clearly not.
But they
one
are.
One can debate.
I completely disagree. They are the same thing. Do you know what they're called? If you take a writing course, you know what they're called? They're called speculative fiction. That is the actual category. So there actually is no category in literature called science fiction, and there is no category in literature called fantasy. They are both clumped under one thing called speculative fiction. Look it up on Wikipedia. You don't believe me?
We're not going to look it up. It's going to be a waste of our time.
It is a waste of your time. Just take my word for it. They are called speculative fiction, and they are under the same thing. They, you know, I think maybe at a bookstore it might still be easier for the average person.
But also one thing that sci-fi has that fantasy doesn't is it can branch out into historical fiction, which is not speculative fiction.
You're talking about what's that called? Like those what's the name of that writer that wrote all those, like the World War II alternate? That's called alternate history. Yes, alternate history is still. I'm looking it up right now. Alternate history is still considered speculative fiction.
No, I'm not talking altered history. I'm talking about historical fiction.
Oh, historical fiction. Yes.
So,
okay.
think of it like this. Everything that happened till this point has happened, but what happens in an hour from now is completely made up.
So, okay, I get what you're saying. Sure.
So, for example, would be historical fiction is the Metro series. Everything that happened up to the Cold War has happened, but the events that came after it is different.
And I'm gonna be streaming that tonight after the stream.
Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
You got it on Game Pass.
I've been playing on the PC. I actually tried it last night, but she cried about how bad she is. I'll be playing that tonight.
I think it's a great game. That was a good point. I
suggest if you read books, you need to read the Metro series. They're very good, and there's a lot of stuff that was cut in the games that never.
When the Great Librarian.
Hey, you know who I was talking about? The alternate history, one of the largest alternate history writers is Harry Turtledove. That's who I was thinking about. I don't know if you guys know him, but Harry Norman Turtledove, and he wrote a lot of alternate history. He calls them science fiction books, so he's very good. If you haven't read them, read them. But again, I want to point out that science fiction and fantasy, you can argue with me all day long. They are both under the literature category known as speculative fiction.
Another writer that's close to his is what's his name? Dmitry Glukhovsky is another writer.
Yes, I've heard of him.
He's the one that wrote the Metro series.
Yeah, okay, that's why I've heard.
There's a couple side stories.
The problem is that the 3 terabyte trial is done now, so we don't have much space anymore. So just letting you know, the Dropbox went back to, I don't know how big it is now again. And I'm not paying for it. I got the free 30-day trial, and that was it.
I originally thought you had paid for it.
No, the first 30 days free. I started a free trial for 30 days for 3 terabyte.
I have a suggestion, Lance.
What?
You can do what Bella Daphne's doing, and then have a Patreon selling bathwater and stuff.
I told Ashley to do that because I don't think they want a old grotesque dude doing that.
Don't call her Bella. She'll freak out. Her name is Belle. I'm sorry. Yeah,
she's still an inbred.
Hey, you know what? She's not doing anything wrong. I thought so.
She is because
it's funny, like everyone else like freaking out. Every like YouTuber is making videos about it. I'm like,
wait.
Like,
I need to say something. I need to say something. Grim, she did do something wrong. Because guess what happened?
What happened? I haven't followed it.
Anybody that bought the bathwater that she had and drank it ended up with herpes.
Okay. If that was true, that would be awful.
It is.
Don't most people already have herpes?
Yeah, like 90%, I believe.
Like I don't think it's 90%, but I'm willing to bet more than half of the population of the planet Earth has herpes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's to me. She's like I consider her like a troll YouTuber or a troll Instagrammer.
Yeah. she's trolling people. So all the YouTubers like
Ricky
review
Mac.
that put up videos calling her out, they just did what she wanted. She's trolling you. She's trolling you, YouTubers.
Yeah.
Stop putting up videos about her.
Yeah.
Stop talking about her. She's trolling you.
Yeah, it's like for
Leave
me.
her alone.
Yeah, for me, it's like I don't really give two shits. You know, if it sells and she makes money, that's great. I wish I had that money. I wish I was a pretty girl. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
good for her. All of the people like YouTubers like it's a Gundam who craps on what he calls thoughts.
mhm.
Yeah, people who do things that streamers who do things that hurt other streamers are pieces of crap for sure. But if you're not hurting anyone,
Mhm.
leave them alone.
Ashley,
My
can you put
God.
your camera on? I gotta use the restroom.
So Ashley, how's Stranger Things? Without any spoilers. Without any spoilers.
The
Please let me
mind
know.
flare does not look like a mind flare.
It doesn't.
It's
Oh.
gooey and it's disgusting looking.
It looks stupid.
Okay, but no, just tell me all around. Like, what do you think of Stranger Things 3?
I'm on the last episode.
Ashley, can you turn on your camera, please? I use the restroom. But yeah, I only watched like the last part of it where she's at right now. I'm gonna finish it after this stream.
I had the TV
I haven't
turned
really
off.
actually watch it.
I'm finishing. I'm gonna finish Dark tonight. Oh, and then I gotta watch AO. I don't know if you guys watched AO at all, but AO season 2 is up, and it's been up for months, and I haven't watched it.
What does it stand for again?
AO? I don't know. Not just right Netflix.
Because I always see that and I wondered what it stood for.
Netflix AO. So the show's called The AO. I don't know. It doesn't say I'm sorry, no, The OA. Why did I say AO? Because my brain is backwards. It's on Netflix, The OA. And it's a sci-fi. It's about a girl who goes into parallel universes, so it's cool. I like that stuff. I love parallel universes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like yell about that stuff. Ashley, what are you doing?
What?
I didn't mean to yell about that stuff about fantasy and science fiction. And I hear you that you know, J.R. Tolkien is not the same as I don't know, Arthur C. Clarke. I get it. But in literature, they're both viewed as what we call speculative fiction, and there are many writers who actually write both. Think of like J.R.R. Martin. He writes both science fiction and fantasy. So, and then there are the writers who combine them, right? Like Shadowrun is a combination of science fiction and fantasy. So it's kind of why they're grouped together as the category speculative fiction. But anyway, what was the cat doing?
What?
What was the cat doing?
He's just laying in his little cat house.
Can he do a trick?
Not really. He's a fat cat.
Does he need a diet?
We have 4 cats. Can't really put him on a diet.
Yeah, I know. When you have even 2 cats, it becomes difficult to put a cat on a diet.
The true diet for a cat is drinking the blood of their enemies.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I'm watching a anime on Hulu right now about vampires. What is it called? I'm watching it. I don't even know what it's called.
I just got done watching Grand Crest, the records of the Grand Crest War or something.
I'm back.
So, do you guys think that the Sega Master System failed in the USA?
Sega Master System? You mean the disk drive?
No, the system, the Master System. The
No,
one before
It's 64-bit.
No, it was an 8-bit system. It came out a year before the NES. Or a year after the NES, around that time.
I don't know. I like I said, I only had that one Sega Genesis system uncle had with the CD. We hook up to it, and he didn't play much of it. We played most majority on the Super Nintendo.
I see. But how about this question? Do you think that Nintendo will be adding 5G or 4G in one of their Switch revisions?
No.
Why not?
No, because Sony tried doing that with the PS Vita. They came out with a 3G model.
The first Vita was 3G. That's true. Yep.
Yeah, but they had so many issues with that, and the fact that they tried advertising true 3G is what caused them getting sued.
It was through AT&T, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never. To me, it's like, why would I spend more money putting Wi-Fi on the system if I just play at
like
home?
see, it would have been fine if there was only one type of signal that all carriers used, but it like in the U.S. alone, there is GSM, CDMA, HSAP, and all that kind of stuff.
Companies use GSM. Sprint and Verizon use CDMA, but everyone else uses GSM. AT&T uses GSM.
Yeah, but there's also HSAP, and a lot of secondary people use HSAP.
Back then, it was all data cap on the it wasn't limited back then when the Vita came out.
Think about this. This is interesting, folks, and I'm sure you read about this. When GSM was being introduced into the United States, because the United States was completely CDMA after all the phones went digital. Everyone kept telling all these companies, no, don't use CDMA. CDMA is too slow. It can't do what GSM does. You're never gonna get the speeds out of it. It's what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the argument of RISC versus CISC-based instruction set chips. You remember this back in the day? I don't know if we're starting about this with RISC-based processors and CISC-based processors, and everyone was telling the CISC-based companies that they need to go to the RISC instruction set, that their process is going to be too slow, it's not going to happen. And Intel, by the way, is a CISC-based instruction set chip. The x86 is a CISC-based instruction set, not a RISC-based instruction set. For example, of a RISC-based instruction set is the G4, G5 processors that Apple used before they went to Intel. In fact, there are still RISC-based processors out there. All of the ARM, I'm sure you know who ARM is. All the ARM CPUs are RISC-based instruction sets, even today. But everyone told these companies, no, CDMA can never do these speeds. It's slow and clunky, and Sprint and Verizon really hadn't gotten a stranglehold on the market like they do today. But they both said that, oh no, you're wrong. You don't know anything about what we can do with this signal. And it turns out that they're right. Everyone told them that CDMA was inferior to GSM, and it turned out not to be true. CDMA is not inferior to GSM. And I found that interesting. Very few countries outside North America actually have access to CDMA signals. Really nowhere in Europe. Some parts of Asia, United States, Canada, Mexico is basically it. But my only point is they've proven that CDMA is not inferior to GSM, and actually some say it's superior. I don't know if that's true. But back to what I was saying about the RISC and the CISC-based processing sets, Intel said to their critics that, you know what, in the future, the instruction set's not going to matter, okay? Because the chips are going to be able to do so much. They're going to be so fast that the instruction set will be meaningless. RISC, CISC, it won't matter. And Intel is mostly right, I think, right? Intel mostly was proven right. Although ARM still argues that RISC-based processors are faster, or can be faster. And if that's true, all right, ARM, where's your processor that's faster than the fastest i9? Because I haven't seen it, although they do make really fast ARM architecture. And ARM has done really well for mobile devices, much better than Intel has done. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's the end of my story. I don't know if anyone has any comments on that. But...
Yeah. Anything else you want to add in before? Because I think we're
It would
running out of
suck
stuff to
for
talk about.
China because China still uses UMTAS or UMTS.
Oh, UMTS. That
Yeah,
is an old protocol. Isn't that pre-digital? No, that's not pre-digital because they're using smartphones. But I mean,
it's like
they
a hybrid pretty much because it's digital in a sense of like the calling and stuff, but the the system itself it seems more analog.
Mm.
so it's basically a hybrid of the pre-digital signaling systems for cell phones. That's
Yeah.
awful. That's awful. But what are they going to do? They need to. Is that why Hawaii is trying to upgrade everything in China?
That and they're trying to control everything in China
Yeah, I
technologically.
mean Hawaii is trying to control everything everywhere, right? I
Yeah.
mean, did I recently read an article where the United States actually um, has been talking to the UK and telling them because the UK has been letting Hawaii come in and actually do a lot of the upgrades to 5G, and instead of say letting a European or a US company do it.
Isn't there like only one U.S. company that has 5G? I think that's Verizon, isn't it?
Verizon is okay. So
Well. Before we even answer that question, there's a lot of companies right now that say they have true 5G, but they don't actually have 5G.
Yeah.
so Verizon um, basically was the first company to adopt the technology. So Verizon owns. So Verizon owns a lot of cell phone towers that a lot of other companies use. They all rent stuff from each other. I mean, so for example, Sprint does own their own towers, but they don't have towers all over the country. They piggyback on towers that other companies use. Same with Verizon, same with AT&T. Um, their networks are kind of combined in a way. And most of the towers in the United States are hybrid towers. We've been talking about CDMA and GSM. Most of these towers transmit hybrid signals, meaning that they can transmit both GSM and CDMA, just kind of like it was built into the infrastructure. So right now, Verizon is, I think, pretty much the only company that's aggressively upgrading towers to 5G. I don't know if the other companies have started to do it yet. I don't know the status of it. I just know that Verizon has kind of like a jump start on everyone.
It's gonna take a couple of years before everyone's gonna have 5G. So,
but Hawaii has been offering really great deals to countries all over the world to say, hey, for this low price, we're going to come in and upgrade all of South Africa to 5G. But
yeah.
it comes at the price of us monitoring your whole system. And in China, we can see everything you do. That's just supposition. I don't know if that's true. But that's what the
That's
U.S.
probably true. Plus, they want money too. It's because if they upgrade all the towers to 5G and have a contract like, okay, if you're gonna use our tower, this is what you got, how much you gotta pay for it to rent our towers.
The fear of Hawaii is it's a governmentally owned company, right? It's owned by the Chinese government, so their interest lies in the Chinese government. The same problem I have with Tencent.
No.
Tencent is also owned by the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
We have a big problem. So, yeah, I don't know. Are there other posts? Do you know of any other country? Any other company across the world? Any other company that is aggressively trying to upgrade things to 5G besides Hawaii? I don't know of any others. Are there any? There's got to be a European company. I just don't know who.
I don't think there's any European company that has 5G yet.
I think there is.
If there is a European country, it would be a French company because France is more technologically advanced as far as the internet.
Yeah, and
France is usually more technologically advanced. Used to be Germany, but France is more technologically advanced in a lot of things. Right, the entire aerospace industry in Europe is based out of France. And just a quick note: who is Boeing's biggest competitor?
I forgot. No one cares.
Airbus, and they are a French company. And Airbus and Boeing are the two companies that produce almost all of the planes in the world.
Any news on Baldur's Gate 3?
Nothing.
It's a similar engine as the Divinity series.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's a enhanced, upgraded version. That's all they said. It's an enhanced.
Isn't it coming out in November?
No, there's no release date for it. You're not going to see that game to end 2020, maybe 2021.
God damn.
What made you think it was coming out in November?
I thought we'll see some kind of gameplay.
Maybe in November we'll see gameplay. That would be cool, but definitely not a release date. In one of the interviews that I saw with Laren, the head of Laren basically said, "We're going to take our time with this. We've already been working on it for a while. We're not ready to show anything, and when we are, we'll let you know." Mm-hmm. So that's like Bethesda saying, "You'll see it when you see it," because that's kind of like what's going on with Starfield right now. I have no hopes of seeing Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon.
But we'll probably be 35 years old before we see. Yeah. I'll be 35 before I see that.
That's only 5 years.
They're probably going to rush it because of all the bad rap recently.
Well, Fallout 76 got a lot better now because I'm not facing any bugs lately. I already did a review on the nuclear winter, the PvP aspect of it. It's okay, but I'm waiting for the DLC patches coming up in the fall. The free DLC.
I have to find my code. I haven't found my code. I got to find my code for Fallout 76.
You will never find it.
It's in this house somewhere. So it came with my Xbox One X. I never installed it because of how bad it was, and now the code is around.
You know the codes do have expiration dates, right?
No, not the game codes. Not the codes for the games.
No, the codes for the game, there are I have a couple game codes that has expiration dates on it.
Well, that would make no sense. I'll tell you why. Because those systems can sit on shelves for years.
I know, but a lot of them do have it. They only put it up for like 10 years most of the time. Like 10 years to it. That's it.
I know. I mean, you could be right about that. It could be 10 years. It's not anytime soon, though.
Because a lot of the DLC ones that comes with the game is like 10 years.
If the code's an actual license code, then they don't expire.
Yeah.
Because the license is permanently on, you know?
Yeah, but there's a lot of them do have expiration dates.
I believe you. I have never seen it, and I know that my code for my Fallout 76
I bet you blew your nose on it and threw it in the trash to eat
No, it's in a big cardboard. So it's definitely not like a piece of paper that was thrown away. It's in a big cardboard sleeve. Mm-hmm. So if it's down here somewhere, I will find it. But I can't install it right now anyway because my Xbox One X is full and I need a hard drive for it.
You guys want to talk about the Magic the Gathering 20 core sets before we end it?
Oh god, I got to talk about that on Wednesday. So, yeah, it's not selling well, and not because it's a bad set. It's actually a good core set. It's a solid set. I like the set, but it's not selling well because they're flooding the market with product. So two reasons why I think it's not selling well. One,
every 2 months they have a new set out.
Every month for the past couple months they've had new product.
Yeah.
And remember, they have Commander coming out next month, so it continues.
Oh, did they release the Commander info yet?
They haven't released any info about Commander. All we have is the release date, which is next month. So we're going to start seeing stuff on the Commander and spoilers of unique cards to the set pretty soon. We're going to start seeing that soon. So it's too much, too fast. People's wallets are not this expendable. People cannot buy all of this. I'm hearing reports all over that stores have terrible pre-releases. And it's hey, on the pre-release note, they put the pre-release on 4th of July weekend. I know it's not 4th of July on the weekend, but people take vacation. Like, this is when a lot of people are taking the summer vacation, or they're just with family, or they're spending money on things that have to do with 4th of July. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a terrible weekend. They should have offset it by a week before or a week after 4th of July.
I went to the pre-release. I also got my box and everything.
That's going to help you open good.
I didn't go.
I didn't go. because of money, and this is the first set in a while that I wasn't able to buy any product, and not because I don't think it's solid. I think it's a solid set, but I just don't have the
That
income.
depends what you're building with, because I only said I can see it is basically if you make it a Sandra deck or a or you mix it with the new stuff with a Soren Planeswalker with the War of Sparks with the vampires and the undead.
I mean, the leyline cards are bomb. Those cards are awesome.
I made a elemental one, the elemental tap out deck. I tested out Arena. It's freaking awesome. I basically winning game after game.
Look, a lot of people are saying also that the effect of Arena is starting to be felt on the stores, and that doesn't mean that the paper product is not going to still sell.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to still sell, but it's going to sell off the internet. People are going to buy their boxes from Amazon. They're going to buy their boxes from Sports and More.
Yeah.
And that's where they're going to get them, and they're going to play with their friends, and they're going to go to stores less and less. So I believe that the paper product is in no danger of ever going away anytime soon. It's going to sell like crazy. It's going to sell. It's going to sell a lot.
It's just on different sites.
Yeah, but Arena is taking players out of stores.
Yeah. Well, I play both because I actually do the dailies and drafts and just post it on as a filler for my channel. So I played some Hearthstone too. I'm gonna do a review on the Shadow ones.
It's a good solid game. I haven't played Hearthstone in a while, maybe like 2 years, maybe like a year.
Yeah, I play like every couple months after the expansion. That's it.
I thought it was a good game, but I do like Magic the Gathering Arena better. So, what's your take? What's your take post on M20 and what's going on with M20 in sales?
I thought it was interesting that they almost like not necessarily reprint it, but they brought back some of the old commanders like into a different form, like Omnoth and Kylia.
Omnoth is there. Kylia is there. Omnoth is in there. It's true.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Out of those like almost reprints, I think the most interesting one was Omnoth because his mechanics.
Omnoth is really good. I did like Omnoth a lot. So those cards are good. Those cards are interesting, definitely.
Well, but as far as like the rules perspective on 2020, I still don't like the London Mulligan rule because it favors too much on combo decks in Modern, and it favors decks that have like that similar effects as ley lines and stuff.
I actually had to deal with that at the pre-release of London Mulligan. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's the way the game is now.
Yeah, that's only if you do it a standard game, but if you do a draft, I mean it's more effective for a standard. For a draft, unless you're lucky enough to get the cards that you need to make a combo deck, then it's a different story. But so far, everyone in the draft for the pre-release draft was terrible. Even mine was terrible. My M20 core box set. Booster box set. Basically, I got crappy. I got cards, but good enough to make an elemental deck. But I had no planeswalkers or anything.
There was only 5 planeswalkers in the set, right?
No more. There's 3 Chandras.
Right, 3 Chandras.
There's one for each color.
2 Sorens.
There's 2 Sorens. I thought there's only 1.
There's 2 Sorens.
2 Sorens. And there's 1 for blue, green, and white.
I think it was an Ajani too.
Yeah, the white.
Yeah, there's 3. No, wait, I have to double check because just a weird set.
Because one of the Sandra is uncommon.
Yeah, there's a common Chandra, uncommon, and a mythic Chandra.
Is there a Vivian?
Yes, there's Vivian.
There is 2 Ajanis, Inspiring Leader, Strength of the Pride.
Let's not count the.
There's
the deck planeswalker.
4 Chandras if you include the deck one. 4 if you include the deck. which is Acolyte of Flame, Awakened Inferno, Flame's Fury, Novice Pyromancer.
I have all the deck ones. They're never going to be open. They're just a wall piece.
Yeah, you might as well keep those, right? Because the decks are probably junk.
No, I can open it up and get the 2 boosters in each of them and open them up and see what they have in there. But I'm not going
to be honest, they need to switch it to 3 boosters to make it more worth it.
And not change the price.
Yeah, and not change the price.
Knowing Wizard,
and
that's not going to happen.
There's 2 Moon Yang Langs, which is the Chinese blue planeswalker, Celestial Wind, and Sky Dancer.
I don't feel I'm not gonna buy another booster box. I'm just gonna buy a pack in here and there because the card doesn't really worth much at all.
Okay, 2 Sorens, Imperious Bloodlord, and Vampire Lord.
All right. Do we have anything
2
else?
2 Vivians, Arcbow Ranger, Nature's Avenger. Yeah, and that's all of them.
Yeah, I'm not buying. I'm just gonna buy a pack in here for this set because the money's not there for the booster box.
The money's not there ever on a standard set. You don't buy a booster box for money. You buy a booster box
unless it's M15.
But there's other sets too, like the Core 7 set has a lot of cards that are actually worth money too.
Shadowmoor, Lorwyn.
It's just just this one alone wasn't much because they have reprinted the ones that hasn't been printed out for a very long time. So,
and then wasn't regular Ixalan a high rated set for a while?
I believe so.
Yeah, I guess, but to get an EV, it's tough.
Yeah. Well, for me, I like buying booster boxes if I know if I will break even. Like War Sparks, I broke way over even when I bought the booster box.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about investing and buying the Japanese War Sparks and just giving my money to my friend in Japan and smelling it to me.
They hold on, Lance.
Or you can just standard showdown.
Yeah, they blasted those Japanese boxes all over the place last month.
Yeah,
they're all over the United States.
Yeah,
you don't need to get them from Japan anymore.
Yeah, but it's still a lot cheaper to get from Japan than.
They were $95.
No, it's actually cheaper to go on eBay and get the full set of Planeswalkers instead of buying the booster box.
How much is a full set?
1 second, I'm checking.
Yeah, because I could probably just get a 3 booster box and get pretty much everything. Because the money's still there. It's worth more than the American set right now.
Yeah, but the Japanese still have the sword and issue that the American ones have. Like you can still be stuck with the damn sorceries.
Japanese boxes, all the stores around me had them the last 2 months, and they were selling them for $100 a pop.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I won't be able to do anything until after September. This is like the last set I can get to play with before anything.
So the next set doesn't come out to the end of September.
What's the next set?
Some Viking set, right? I forget the name of it.
They need to bring Slivers and Kavus back, in my opinion.
They did bring back Slivers.
I want the actual like the whole like sets of them, not like here's 4 or 5 cards for it. You play your commanders.
Magic doesn't print cards like that. They never have. You know that. They don't print sets like that.
They had like a whole bunch of reprints from the core sets, and they had
those weren't reprints. They were all new Slivers. Was that M14? Talking about like M14?
They're older ones than that. They reprinted Slivers, and
the last core set to reprint Slivers was, I think, M14.
It was older than M14 because I've cut some core set of Slivers.
That reprints Slivers or made Slivers?
Made Slivers, right? Yeah. There were no
M15.
Because I remember the Odyssey sets and then the Legion sets. They brought a good chunk of Slivers throughout the whole.
That's why the M15 was so expensive, because it had Sliver Hive Lord and Venomous Sliver and all them.
Yeah.
I still have that the dual set decks. I've actually had the constructed decks that have the Sliver High Lords in it. It's still worth a hell of a lot of money. They're still sealed.
There's a lot of slivers in M14 and
Sliver Hive Lord is now like $40 now.
Mm. I have the
Just
I
modern.
still have the Sliver Queen, so still have it. All right, then I think that'll be it. I'm gonna get Metro Exodus up and going. Well, any guys want to add in before we end it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go finish Dark, then watch AO, and then watch Stranger Things.
Huh?
So and watch my anime in between. I got a lot of stuff to watch.
Okay.
And maybe I'll play some Metro Exodus because I do enjoy that game. I have been playing it on Xbox Game Pass. By the way, Xbox Game Pass, best value in gaming. Hell with you, Stadia. Xbox Game Pass.
I don't know. I play very, very few games on the Xbox Game Pass.
The I don't know about the PC side of it. I haven't really looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Xbox One, they got a lot of games on them.
I have all those games in the boxes now. I have the actual games in the boxes.
Lance.
Yes.
What's in the box?
I don't know. Want to see? Want to open it up?
You seen that movie 7?
Yeah.
With Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was in the box was his wife's head.
Yeah.
All right then, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, and share. Metro 6 tonight. Thank you guys for watching the podcast. And Blue says games in the box. Okay, cool. Thank you guys, and check there down the link below, and see you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, I gotta go eat.